Hi everyone. Welcome to my channel, Turkish series stars. All the details are in my video. If you enjoy what you hear, a like and a subscribe mean the world, and if you're feeling extra supportive, the join button is right below. Thank you, and now, let's dive into tonight's story. In the amber hush of a venue thick with flashbulbs and velvet ropes, Semra Arda slipped in with that restrained grace that turns heads without asking. It was supposed to be another polished stop on Istanbul's social calendar, but a single detail shifted the entire evening: the bracelet. Not loud, not ostentatious, just a fine, gleaming band of silver that sat against her black satin like a whisper. She adjusted it with a light brush of her fingers, pausing on its inlaid pattern as if remembering something private, and that small gesture set off a chain reaction that hasn't stopped echoing across timelines and group chats. Here's where it began: a product launch, tasteful and perfectly orchestrated, with the city's familiar faces circulating among the cameras, the collared press, and the soft-spoken PR handlers. The lighting adored Semra's gown, the makeup looked as if it breathed, and her posture carried the calm of someone who knows exactly how to be seen. Yet it was the unobvious that stole the show. The bracelet, artisan cut, not generic, shimmering with an understated design, felt less like an accessory and more like a talisman. Within hours, clips and stills spread. Within hours, the same question pulsed beneath every caption: did Gökberk Yildirim give it to her? It's impossible to grasp the intensity of the speculation without remembering what led up to it. For months, Semra Arda and Gökberk Yildirim have hovered in the headlines and hovered closer in public memory. They have worked side by side, their professionalism apparent, but their ease around each other even more so. Colleagues talk about an unforced trust, the type of shorthand that two people build when early call times and late-night script tweaks become the rhythm of their days. Add to that a persistent rumor of a shared escape to Cappadocia, a myth-wrapped corner of Turkey where the horizon feels like a promise, and you have everything needed for a story to brew. And then there's the piece itself. People whisper that the bracelet wasn't picked from a glass case under white light, but chosen in a quiet shop far from the city's rush, where hands shape silver the way poets shape lines. The design isn't something you stumble upon. It's deliberate. It belongs to the realm of gifts that carry meaning even if no one speaks it aloud. That's why the internet couldn't let it slide. It felt like a message in plain sight. Semra's response to the press that night did little to stop the storm. When a microphone leaned in and a voice asked about the bracelet, she gave a neutral smile and a cautious answer, something along the lines of, "It's just a piece I wanted to wear, nothing beyond that." Those words, calm and tidy, didn't close the door. They cracked it open. Fans took her restraint as its own kind of confession, or at least as a sign that there was something worth guarding behind the carefully drawn line of her privacy. The gestures, meanwhile, had their own volume. Cameras and eyewitnesses have noted how, in recent weeks, Semra and Gökberk were seen leaving a lively place in Istanbul together, their steps matching without conscious effort. No dramatic displays, no staged moments for the flash, just closeness that doesn't strain to be explained. If you've watched carefully, you've seen it too. Their public stance remains consistent: they're good friends, loyal collaborators. But the comfort they share has always lived a breath beyond the usual, inviting interpretations to take a life of their own. Online, the detective work began long before last night. The like counts, the mirrored captions, the inside jokes only two people would fully understand. Fans have built timelines out of these crumbs. Some are sweet about it, celebrating a bond that seems to make both of them lighter. Others are more skeptical, warning against reading hearts through screens. Either way, every digital breadcrumb feels like a hint, and every hint feels like a step toward a story people desperately want to name. What makes the bracelet so magnetic is not just its shine, but its symbolism. Fashion writers and longtime observers of celebrity romances have seen this pattern before: objects that become silent narrators, tokens that move from decoration to meaning simply because of where they appear and who touches them. The human heart loves a cipher, and the camera loves a clue. This delicate silver band, crafted by a hand that knows ancient techniques, has been turned into a chapter title. Across platforms, the reaction resembles a chorus: comparisons, theories, side-by-side screenshots, and gentle admonitions about boundaries. One comment captured what many were feeling without needing a paragraph: "It isn't really the bracelet. It's the way she keeps reaching for it." And with that, a stranger on the internet mapped the whole mood. Is it style, superstition, a private signal between two people who refuse to make a spectacle of what matters most? The answer shifts with the viewer, and in an age where our collective gaze can turn anything into subtext, interpretations aren't just inevitable, they're the fuel. At Turkish series Stars, we try to read these moments with care. Behind the frenzy is a very ordinary truth: artists build public lives on top of private ones, and the tension between those layers makes sparks. Semra and Gökberk know this tension well. They've been deft, almost old-fashioned in how they protect it, speaking lightly when pressed, offering enough to anchor a narrative but never so much that it steals their choices. There is grace in that restraint, and there is power in keeping some parts of your heart off the grid. Still, the images travel. The bracelet circulates. And a trip to Cappadocia, if it happened at all, lingers in the air like sunrise mist over fairy chimneys. People who have been there say time moves differently. Mornings come softer. Conversations feel important. In a place like that, a gift might change from an object to a promise. Whether or not that's what occurred here, the idea of it has taken hold. The industry, of course, complicates everything. Timing matters. Contracts matter. Announcements matter. When two stars try to live something real, they also have to balance brand calendars and press strategies, and that calculus can make even a simple truth feel like a hard thing to say. Perhaps this is why both continue to call what they have a friendship. It's a word that can be absolutely true and still carry more than it reveals. It gives room to breathe. A small detail becomes a lens, and through it the public builds a bigger picture. Semra's gown, her makeup, the set of her shoulders, all of it was flawless. But the silver line on her wrist stole the spotlight and refused to give it back. In that refusal, a wave of questions rose. When did this start? What did he say? Why this design, and why now? Pieces like this gather stories the way tides gather shells. The longer we look, the more we think we see. None of this would take flight without an audience willing to play along. And play along we do, bringing tenderness and suspicion in equal measure. Some viewers cheer, let love be love. Others bristle, let them be. Many simply wonder, and that wondering is neither harmless nor cruel, it's just the necessary companion to life lived in the open. Semra and Gökberk have always been good at carrying the gaze instead of letting it carry them. That might be their greatest skill of all. So where does that leave us? With a handful of images, a few quotes, and a lot of inferences. With a midnight walk at the edge of a crowd. With a silver band that might be a keepsake from a quieter landscape. With two people who, through their work, have taught us to read feelings on faces, and who now ask us to accept the limits of our reading. They can insist on friendship and still leave room for tenderness. They can be careful and still be human. This conversation, like so many in pop culture, lives on the balance beam between exposure and mystery. The bracelet looks small in the photographs, but it has already generated a gravity field around itself. Maybe it was a thoughtful token from a dear colleague. Maybe it was a signpost on a road the rest of us aren't invited to walk yet. Maybe it's nothing at all beyond good taste. The beauty of not knowing is that the story keeps breathing. Tell us what you think. Do you believe that the bracelet is a quiet confession from Gökberk Yildirim to Semra Arda? Or do you see it as a lovely piece chosen for a special night and nothing else? Should we at Turkish series Stars pull this thread further, exploring the whispers of that Cappadocia getaway, the ateliers where master silversmiths work by lamplight, the playbook stars use to manage private truths in public? Or would you rather we turn our focus to the wider landscape of Turkish show business and all the other stories waiting to be told? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read everything, we compare notes, and we love highlighting the most original takes in future videos. If our deep dives speak to you, subscribe, ring the bell so you won't miss what comes next, and consider joining us by clicking the join button for exclusive support. Your engagement powers longer, better researched, more carefully crafted pieces, and it helps us keep conversations thoughtful instead of loud. We'll keep watching this with the respect it deserves. If the threads lead us to Cappadocia, we'll follow, to the balloon-lit dawns and the artisan benches where silver turns to story. If they lead us into the subtler corners of public relations, we'll go there too, speaking with the people who guide stars through the maze of what to say and when to say it. And if they lead nowhere at all, that's a chapter worth telling as well, two colleagues who protected their friendship from the teeth of speculation. For now, we have the image of Semra Arda looking luminous, her hand lingering on a gleam of silver, and the knowledge that such images sometimes carry more than they show. We have glimpses of Gökberk Yildirim being steady beside her, matching a stride, offering a look that says the conversation between them matters more than the cameras. We have a public that is alert to nuance, eager for meaning, and, whether we confess it or not, enchanted by the idea that the quietest objects can say the loudest things. At Turkish series Stars, we'll keep observing, documenting, and recounting each development with curiosity and care for privacy. If you want us to chase the artisan who might have crafted that bracelet, we'll try to find them. If you want the full tapestry, the dates, the cities, the overlapping schedules that made chance encounters inevitable, we can build that too. And if you want us to step back and let the silence be, we hear that request as well. Thank you for spending your time with us and for keeping this community generous and sharp. Stay with Turkish series Stars for more, and if you're new here, welcome, we're glad you found us. Subscribe, comment, even join if you'd like to add your voice a little louder. Stories like this one keep reminding us why we watch, why we guess, and why we care. The spectacle thrives on that tension between what is revealed and what is kept close. A bracelet is an object, yes, but it's also an invitation, sometimes to romance, sometimes to restraint, always to attention. Perhaps we'll never know whether it was offered during a sunrise over Cappadocia or selected in the quiet of a studio wardrobe. Perhaps the truth will arrive in its own time, in its own words, from the only two people who can speak it. Until then, we'll keep the lens steady and the questions kind. Thank you so much for watching my video. See you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.